Go, Christian! Go, Christian! Go, Christian! Go, Christian! Unts, 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 unts. Go, Christian! Wait, wait, wait! Unts, 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 unts. He's like, what? Look, there he goes. He was about to get the rhythm. Christian, go Haiti, go Christian, go Haiti, go Christian, go Haiti, go, go, woohoo! Go, go Christian, go Christian, go Christian. Dámelo.
Ouch.
Dámelo, Christian.
Give my hand.
Gracias. Hey, your foot. Póntelo, Christian. Baba, qué cute. Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine. I have a son that is diagnosed with autism. He is 3 years old. He is nonverbal, which means he does not talk at all. He has some sounds. He doesn't have any sounds that sound like any words at this time. So his main way of communicating is by pointing and by pulling us and by using his iPad, his PEC system. But the main reason why I wanted to make this video is to talk about our autism story. So I wanted to start off by saying that I didn't really have any information on what autism was besides what I heard. I do have a cousin that has a child on the spectrum. She lives in California, so I don't really get to interact with her son. I don't get to see his daily life, what he struggles with, what he thrives on. So I didn't really know much about autism. Our son he was born normal, no complications. There was nothing wrong, nothing that would make me think of anything. It was a normal birth. I have a daughter that's 6 years old. She was also born natural, no complications, nothing like that. My daughter and my son are 3 years apart, so it was kind of a long time of a difference between like babies. So I kind of forgot. You kind of forget what is normal, what's not normal, what to expect, when to expect it. So from a baby up until he was 1, he was your normal baby. He would cry, he would laugh, he would make sounds. He didn't make as many sounds as Haiti did, I want to say, from what I remember, but he did make sounds. I wasn't worried at all from 0 months to 12 months. Going on to 12 to 18 months, it's when babies start being more, aware, more wanting to just explore the world, having more of their little personality. He started walking at 12 months. That was normal. Everything was fine. He ate normal. Everything was great. I didn't notice anything until probably leading up to 15 months, going on 18 months. He still didn't talk. He wasn't really playing with toys. All he really wanted to do was watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. He was obsessed with it. With his doctor checkups, nothing ever really seemed abnormal. Everything was fine. The doctor did seem a little concerned that he wasn't talking yet, but she would always wait until the next month, the next checkup to see how things were going. She would ask us questions. We would tell her. Our doctor gave us a referral to early intervention when he was 18 months because he still was not talking. So that was a little bit of a concern for her. She didn't say that she didn't expect him to not talk ever. She just said, here's the referral. I give it to the parents of the kids that, they're a little behind. There's nothing to worry about. If you want to take them, they will help just to get him where he needs to be. So after discussing it with my husband, we were going back and forth thinking, what could it hurt? But once I got that, once the doctor told me, you know, you can look into this early intervention, I started just, you know, what we all do, putting what was going on with Christian onto Google. So it wasn't just talking. He wasn't talking, but also he was very much in his own world. So Mickey Mouse was on, nothing else mattered. So I could say Christian, Christian, yelling at him, like right next to him, just saying his name. He wouldn't budge. He was just focused on Mickey. So he was obsessed with Mickey. He wasn't really doing eye contact, which it's sad because I didn't notice up until almost leading up to 18 months, until, you know, like the doctor said, early intervention. I started noticing these little things. If he wanted something, I guess I just knew what he wanted. He never pointed. He didn't have eye contact. He wasn't interacting with his sister. And he wasn't smiling like he was before. He kind of lost his happiness. He was just stuck on Mickey. Literally, Mickey was his life. He loved Mickey. So that got me worried. I started thinking about what was going on. I used to always actually ask my friends and my family members, do you think it's weird that my son's not talking yet? When did your son start talking? And they would always tell me, oh no, it's fine, you know, boys take forever, boys take longer. And I only had a daughter, so my daughter started talking even she started saying words before she was even one. She was just talking nonstop. So I just felt a little weird that he wasn't talking, but I took it as he's a boy. He'll get there when he gets there, you know, it's fine. So once I started Googling some of the things that were going on with Christian, I started coming up with autism. And then when I clicked on autism, it started telling you, you know, that they don't interact with kids, that they have trouble with communication, that they have trouble looking people in the eyes, that they have trouble with pretend play, that they don't know how to interact with others. And it started scaring me, of course, and I would talk to my husband about it, and we had to wait a little while. I want to say like a month before we went to early intervention. So I had all this time to Google everything and look at videos and try to find things. For some reason, I could never find videos on autism, like just parents with their child. And I really, really wanted to see just somebody that was on the spectrum and how they interacted with their parents and how their life was, kind of what I'm doing right now. And that's one of the main reasons why I did it, why I'm trying to upload videos. I don't even know who's watching it or if a lot of people will watch it, but I just want to have something out there like this, our story, explaining early diagnosis and explaining what we are doing and looking at our life to let you know that it's okay. It's hard and it's sad at times, but it is okay. And I wanted just somebody to be able to see that. So as I was saying, I was looking through everything, and I was making myself worried, and I would tell my husband, look, there's an app that says if your child looks at this video, it'll trace their eyes and you kind of get an idea if they are on the spectrum or not. And I wanted to do all these things, but my husband was like, just relax, there's nothing that you can do right now that will change if he does or doesn't have it. This app might tell you he has it, but he doesn't. You just have to wait. So the day finally came when we went to early intervention, and they did some tests, which is pretty much just having him play with them to see if he played okay. So they would have him, they had like a little doll with a little shower, and you're supposed to pretend play. You're giving the doll a shower. Christian was not interested at all. He wasn't paying attention to it. He was just playing with like a piece of that doll, just doing his own thing, putting it in his mouth or just rolling it around, not playing how it's supposed to be. So that's another thing. Kids on the spectrum at a young age, they don't play with the toys the way they're supposed to be played with. Another thing that he would do is if he was interested in something like bubbles, within like seconds he would be over it. If he was really interested in a toy but he dropped it, he forgot about it. He would never even look down to see where it was. He would just ignore the toy like it never was there. He wouldn't smile at me. So one of the things that they asked me to do, they told me, can you make your son laugh? And I was like, yeah, I can make him laugh. I tried to make him laugh. I tried doing funny noises. I tried getting him to look at me. I tried peekaboo. He was probably about 20 months by that point. I was trying to do anything and he wouldn't laugh. He wouldn't smile. He barely would even look at me. I don't think he even looked at me. He was just in his own world. And that is one of the things that I remember specifically about the test that it made me feel so bad, that they told me, can you make your son smile? And I couldn't. I had no way of making him smile. So that really broke my heart. And they would just do a lot. They did a lot of other tests, and they pretty much said that he was a candidate for early intervention. But they also said that based on the results, he was at high risk of autism. So they didn't diagnose him, but they told me that there was a chance. They said that they could set up an appointment with the doctor that does the diagnosis for autism, but it was going to take a long time. He was, booked up until like 6 months from now. So I made the appointment, and we had an appointment 6 months from then, or I think like 8 months from then. From then on, we had a person that was occupational therapy that was supposed to come out once a week, or once a month, I believe, once a month. And we had a speech therapist that was supposed to come out twice a month, I believe. And it was kind of like ABA therapy supposedly, but it wasn't, because early intervention, from what I know now, is it's helping parents learn what they need to do to get the kid where he needs to be. So when they came over, they wouldn't do anything really but talk to us. They would tell us, so how does he communicate with you? And I would tell them, well, he just kind of takes us, and they would ask me, does he point? That's another thing he wasn't doing. He wasn't pointing at all. He wasn't looking at me in the eyes, and he wasn't pointing at all. So what we wanted to do is pretty much you have to make them uncomfortable. Every time they would come, they would explain to us, if he wants something, he needs to take you, okay, but he needs to point at what he wants. So it took forever for him to realize that if he wanted something, he had to point. So probably within like 3 months, he had pointing down, and eye contact was hard in the beginning. When we would tell him if he wanted something, we would kind of hold it up into our eyes so that he had to look into our eyes, and it's something that makes kids with on the spectrum sometimes uncomfortable. So he was uncomfortable. He didn't want to look at us. He would look at us for like a second and then look down until he was okay with it. So they did help us a lot. And I remember one of the therapists said, Christian, no, he doesn't have any of the characteristics that I've seen on kids with autism. I would be very surprised if Christian had autism. And that kind of made me feel like, oh, okay, so maybe he's just delayed, it's not a big deal. But after a while, it kind of I was just kind of like, it's okay. If he has autism, he has autism. If he doesn't have autism, great. We're doing what we can right now, which was early intervention. Whatever comes next, comes next. So then the 7 months went by, and we had the appointment with the doctor that was gonna diagnose him if he had autism or not. I was scared. You build yourself up, and you think, what if? But then you're all like, no, it's fine, whatever happens, happens. But in the end, you're scared. When I went to the appointment, I went with my husband, and they had him do pretty much the same tests that he did for early intervention. They called his name, Christian. He didn't answer. Christian, come here. He didn't look. Christian, look at the toys. Oh, wow, look at all these toys. Wasn't interested. Gave him a toy that he liked. Threw it on the floor again. Wasn't interested. Forgot about it completely. They did a lot of tests that seem like easy, but it's hard for them. So he got the diagnosis. And it's crazy because it's just a diagnosis. But you feel a little like, okay, brace yourself, okay. And then, yes, he's on the spectrum, and then it's like, okay, how am I supposed to feel? I kind of knew he was going to be on the spectrum. I told myself to be ready for it. I think I was kind of numb to it. I was just like, okay, so what do we do next? And then she said, once he turns 3, he can get ABA therapy, and it's a long wait time, especially after school. Most kids want ABA therapy after school. At that time, I was like, I don't care, I'll take whatever, I'll take it in the morning, he'll go to school after, he wasn't going to school at that time yet. So we were just trying to get all the information we could. Probably, my husband too was like, it's fine, it's not a big deal. It probably took about a month or two. For some reason, I just kept thinking, about, oh, but my family was telling me like, are you okay? You know, how do you feel? Or is it, I know this is hard. And I was just like, it's nothing. It's just a diagnosis. It doesn't change anything, you know? I'm fine. Like in my mind, I was fine. But then I was just, you know, thinking about all the things that all the plans that you have, like, and I was watching videos about autism, and a lot of these videos are very negative. They show the bad side about autism, but they don't show the regular moments. So I was watching a lot of self-harm. I was watching a lot that couldn't talk, obviously. I was watching a lot of meltdowns. You see a lot of the negative, all right? So one day I was just with my family eating breakfast, and I don't know what I was doing, but I just kept thinking, oh my God, my son's never gonna talk. I'm never gonna hear his voice. What if he's never independent? Like, what if he, I read that there's like a lot of medical problems that come with autism, like seizures and GI problems. And I was just thinking about all of that. And for some reason it hit me and I was like, oh my God, my son has autism. And it's still hard because you don't talk about it every day. You talk about autism, obviously, every day because I was his therapy, House Christian, blah blah blah, but you don't talk about your emotions. For some reason you kind of like bottle them up, or when you do talk about it you get a little emotional. But when you start thinking about what he can't do, it gets really hard. So I just broke down and I was just like, oh my God, like what do I do? Like it's just so scary. Like what if he can't be independent? What kind of life is he gonna have? I don't care about me, but what if something happens to me? What if I don't do this? You just think about so many things and you freak yourself out. But my son is awesome. My daughter is amazing. My son is healthy. My daughter is healthy. He has trouble with communication. Yes. He doesn't talk. Yes. It's scary. Yes. But he knows how to communicate in his own way. Autism does not mean that life stops. It just means that it's a different life. Not for the worse, not for better. It's just different. Did I think that my life was going to be like this when we planned to have another child? No. Am I happy? Yes. Is my son happy? Yes. Is my daughter happy? Yes. Is it hard? Definitely. Things happen and you just have to adapt. My son, he's smart. He's kind, he's funny in his own way. Isn't that crazy? Like, he doesn't talk, but he's hilarious. He has a sense of humor. He is a normal kid in every other way. He has his moments where things get hard for him, but he is a strong kid. My daughter is the best sister ever. She loves her brother, and her brother loves her, and they will not have the same sibling interaction that other kids have, that sometimes I wish they had, but they will have a stronger bond. When my daughter gets older, she will hopefully understand that things are hard for her brother, that she needs to have empathy, that she needs to have patience. Hopefully these things will make her become even a better person, because right now my daughter is amazing. She's kind-hearted, compassionate, sweet, funny. One of the hard things about having one neurotypical child and one that's on the spectrum is it's hard to give the attention that they deserve. So my son needs a lot of attention, but my daughter, of course, also needs a lot of attention. She is going to school. She has school projects. She wants to do swimming lessons. She wants to go to after school things, and there's only so much time in the day and there's only so much you can do. So sometimes it brings me down to feel like maybe I'm not showing her enough attention, and then I still think about what can I do for Christian. It's a lot to have on your mind. Definitely. I'm very, very lucky to have a family that helps me, that supports me emotionally. You know, they help watch my children so that my husband and I can have date night once a week. And it really helps. It really helps to have some time to yourself to just kind of like relax and de-stress and just have some time for you, because you have to have a clear mentality to be able to be what they need. If you are stressed, if you are feeling negative, that is going to show. So it's not easy, and it's definitely okay to feel overwhelmed, and it's okay to have your cry every once in a while. I'm okay with my son's diagnosis. I know that he's happy. I know that my whole family is happy. I know that it's something that we can do. We're strong enough for this, and he's strong enough. I know that he will be okay, especially because a big thing that I think is we caught that there was something different about Christian early on. We are getting the help that he needs in regards to, obviously there's no cure, there's nothing that I could do to change him. I don't want to change him. Christian is Christian and I love him for it, but there's things that we are doing to help him out, to be independent, to be able to communicate, to be able to express what he needs. He is doing speech, he is doing ABA, he is doing school, which are all things that that is helping him become more independent, be able to be himself, be able to tell us what he needs, tell us what he wants, be able to play with us. Everything that we do is to try to help him, and I love Christian with all my heart. I love my family with all my heart. I wouldn't change anything about him. That's me with what's happened so far. He doesn't have any medical problems. His only problem really is communication and a lack of motivation to socialize. So if we are at a grocery store, if we're at Target and somebody comes up to us and they tell him, wow, cool backpack, a regular response would be for my son to look at the person and smile or say thank you or acknowledge that somebody was talking to you. My son will not look at that person. My son will not turn around. My son will not, it's like you didn't talk to that person at all. So social cues he's missing. If I call his name, sometimes he'll turn around. Other times he'll ignore me. If I tell him to do something, if it's in a school setting, he usually tries to ignore the command. But if I tell him, Christian, pick this up, Christian, bring me this, he'll usually do it. So he's a smart kid, but he chooses his battles. If he doesn't see a reason for it, he's not gonna want to do it. So you have to kind of give him a reason to do it, so a reward kind of thing. So I'll give you this candy if you pat your belly, and he'll see, okay, so if I pat my belly, you'll give me a candy. Cool, I'll do it. And he is a lot better than he was at 2 years old. He's a lot better than he was 6 months ago. So he does grow. Your child will grow. It might be not as fast as you would expect, or it might be different from what you expect, but your child will grow and succeed and advance in this world. You just have to be patient and you have to be loving, and just know that you are doing, if you're doing all you can, if you're thinking about it, if you are always trying to find ways to help, you are doing enough. You are enough, and you are doing a great job. And I know it's hard, and I have my moments where I cry, where I feel scared, where I feel like I'm hoping I'm doing the right thing. That's normal. It's okay. We all have one autism journey that takes us in different paths. Just do what your gut tells you. Make sure that you're as a whole family, you're happy, you're mentally okay, you're not overstressed, you're not negative, you're feeling positive, you're feeling okay. Make sure you take care of yourself so that you can take care of your loved one. I hope this helped in any way, and I hope that you can understand what I'm talking about, because I'm all over the place sometimes. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helped in any way. Thank you.